Started. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome again to another amazing live call sessions. As always, we start by looking through the setup we had for the previous day, and then we look into what is the market planning to do. Then we move into creating new setups. As usual, you want to start sending in your questions. You have some feedbacks on your trade. You want to start sending that into the chat section. And I take up time when we're done with all of the setup to go through all of those chats, hear your feedback, answer your questions. So those are super vital. Once again, don't forget, we're going to be starting a new program called Real Traders, Real Results. So if you're already having this result from these live sections, you want to start indicating that, and we're going to pick you up for a one-on-one section. So that is going to be really amazing. So first, let's jump right into the trades we had for yesterday. So I'm going to go straight back to the chart. So first, yesterday we had a trade on a Matic, and that went pretty amazing. You could see over here, Matic had reached our zone target. So if you took the trade on Matic or you're on the trade, your Matic should probably be this right now. So I still have the Matic trade open right here. So our target for Matic was a 3% price movement in a 5% maximum leverage. So we were aiming to take from Matic. We're aiming to take from Matic a much profit, but we're still here with Matic at 20% movement. So one of the first things you want to do on Matic, if you're still on this trade, you want to take the profit right here. So to do that, you want to go on your Tafabot app. And this is the reason for that, is that we can find that the market is still ranging within a shorter price zone, and it's not yet bullish or bearish like we're expecting. So most of the trades that we're doing are not reaching the full potential. You could see over here in the chart of Matic, it touched the fourth zone and started retracting, and our take profit is right above the fourth zone. So the first thing we want to do, we want to take the profit from Matic. So go right into your Tafabot app. You don't need to do anything on Binance. Click on my bots as usual. Go to the bot of Matic you have. So this is my Matic over here. I'm on 21% profit and $132. So you want to click there, edit the bot. So our take profit was 5%. And on a 5S, we're expecting a 25% profit. That's interesting. So we're actually expecting a 25% profit, but in Matic, we are on 20%. So we're just 5% away from our take profit, and that's totally fine. That's good enough profit. So go right into your Tafabot, click on edit. You're going to see the take profit ratio right here. Just switch it to 3, put it up to 3, and click on save. And that's it. We're going to see this Matic trade right here, close up. So if you're still on the trade, you want to do the same, you want to do that immediately. Go to your Tafabot app. Don't touch your Binance or any of your exchange. You do all of this inside the Tafabot app. So we take the profits that Matic has given us. We're just 5% away from our original plan take profit. So this is good enough. So my Matic trade is gone over here. You can see the trade is gone just by editing on Tafabot. Perfect. So let's move over to the next trade we also took yesterday. Then we went for the FET trade. So if you also took the FET trade, you could see FET hit right above into our zone and hit the cap of our first zone. So that has also closed in profits. If I go right to my Tafabot profit history. Okay, so if I go right to my profit history, I have so many trade open here. So we see the FET trade over here closed several times in profit. So that is also totally done. You shouldn't be in the FET trade anymore. The setup is done. So I'm just going to be taking that right out of our chart. So we took also over 20% profit from FET. We just took 20% also from Matic. That is pretty amazing. Next, we also took a trade on ZEM. So you could see the Matic profit over here recorded just like in Binance. Immediately we closed that. We also took a trade on ZEM, and ZEM is quite one of the interesting trade that I really enjoyed that we took. So if you took the trade on ZEM, you would notice that our setup for ZEM was to go right back into the trade several times, taking a lot of profit. So we see, if you look at my screenshot over here, you're going to see ZEM taking profit several times. At a point, it took a $42. At some point, it took an $80 profit. So it was taking profit at different intervals. Overall, if I go to my bot to check on the ZEM, so overall, the ZEM took $174 in profit. So that's pretty amazing. Now, one of the things you want to do, if you're still running that ZEM setup, you want to know that it is right now no longer valid. So if you're still on that trade, there's nothing you need to do. What you need to do is go back to your Tafabot app and search for the ZEM setup. If you're still on that trade, so look for the ZEM. This is it over here. So go for the ZEM setup and click on edit and move the strategy period to 1. And that's all you need to do. Move the strategy period to 1. So if you're still on a ZEM trade, what Tafabot is going to do is going to execute the last trade that is currently on. And when it takes profit, it's going to shut down the bot for ZEM. So I just clicked on save. So apparently I should also have a new open ZEM trade. So I have a bot error over here that tells me my fuel balance is too low, so it couldn't take further trade. That's interesting. Also, my Matic trade bot, also the balance is too low. It could not take further trade. So I'm just going to transfer some fuel right into my fuel. So I click on the transfer. I'm going to move some fuel over there. So while doing that, you want to make sure we are not taking new trade from the old setup. Remember, we do trade in the zone. Once we are out of the zone, that trade becomes invalid. So if you still have Matic wanting to take further trade, you want to go on the Matic setup. Mine is done totally right now. If you also want to take further trade, You want to go right there. If you have any strategy period, more than one, you want to update it to one. So it closes the current trade and it will not have to get into further trade. Okay, so as usual, you want to keep sending in your questions, your feedback into the chat, and I'm going to go through all of that once we're done. So also on the ZEM, we already took profit. We took over 20% profit on that. Collectively from yesterday's trade, we've done over 50%. That is so amazing. So we'll also look at what other trade do we have that is still there. ANKRO, that is pretty much another amazing trade we took yesterday. So you can see my ANKRO closed there at $204 over there. And that also closed at about 15% profit. So this is a 15% profit. If you still have that open for you, what you could do is to just go right into your Tafabot like I showed. I'm just going to show that again. So you want to go right into your Tafabot app and go to your bots. Click on edit, look for if it is ANKRO. You're already on profit on that, but it has not closed. Mine has closed, so you just want to go right, edit it, click on next, and move the take profit ratio to 1, and save the bots, and automatically your ANKRO is also going to close. So we've done over 50% profit yesterday, and I believe we still have one more trade we did yesterday. If I go to my Binance, so we still have BTC that is a recurring trade, and we have the Lena trade. So another thing you want to do is we've taken a lot of profit from BTC recurring trade. You also want to shut that down because we're out of that setup also. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go right into my Tafabot app. And I'm going to go for the BTC setup. We've taken over $300 profit from that on recurring trade. And the strategy period was 50. So you just want to put that to 1 and save your board. So BTC will not open further trade after this trade is done, which leaves us with one more trade from yesterday, which is the Lena trade. Now, the Lena setup, if we go through our charts, the Lena setup is still pretty fine. So I'm going to go over there. So our Lena setup is still pretty fine. It's just within our zone ranging. As we can see, the whole market is just ranging. They are not breaking so much out of the zone. They're just within a particular zone. So Lena trade is still totally fine. You don't want to do anything about that. You still want to leave that. My hopes for Lena is that the price even goes further down to get into more zone so we can have much profits to get from Lena. So you're only going to have Lena trade open if yours is not closed yet, and that's totally fine. So generally we took over 50% profit. So want to see where is the market going next and what do we need to do. I'm going to clear off my bot error. Clear? So where is the market going next? We're going to look at it. Let's head back right into the chart. So we go over to the money flow and we see over here that we're just really ranging around the ZEM zone for the past days. So we're expecting a bullish above the zone where we have in our BTC breaking above our 4 zone over here, if you can see that. So it's still just playing right under the zone here. It's not breaking out of it. It's not breaking below it. So this is going to affect the type of strategy we're going to be using from now and majorly today because of these levels of ranging. It's going to be different from other setup that we have always had. So let's jump right in. The market is ranging. We're not going bullish. We're not going bearish. So we want to create setup that is just making us profit within the shortest possible ranging zones. So one of the first setup we want to take for today, don't forget all of the setup. If you don't fully catch it, they are always going to be in the Telegram group right after the Zoom. So the first setup we want to do for today is a setup for ZEM. We're just going to close out all of the setup that we're done with. We're done with Matic. We're done with STS, we've taken profit over there. We still have Lena, so it's still going to be here. We're done with ANK arrow. Just take that out. So we have a clean screen. Now we are moving to creating a setup for FETs. So let's head right into the FETs charts. FETs USDT. Perfect. So this is our FET setup, and we find FETs also ranging within our zone over here. It's not breaking above it, it's not going below it. So all of the markets is ranging, just few are trying to flex. So for our flats, everything is our FET, everything is still going to be pretty the same strategy we had before. Everything is still within the zone, nothing changes. So our price movement for FET is a 24% price movement, and our average movement is 3.3. So you want to head straight right into the Tafabot Martingale calculator. If you don't have that, it's going to be sent right into the chart. So you want to head straight into the Tafabot Martingale calculator, and you want to create a setup for FET. So for FET, my capital, I'm going to be allocating a $5,000 capital into that. All right. And our price movement is 24%. Our average is 3.3. So if we calculate, it gives us what is our setup for FET. Now for FET, we're going to be shorting because we've already longed the market into the bullish. The market is ranging again, means what we're expecting is we're still going to have more drawdown from the market. Like we can see, we're still going to have more drawdown. The market is still going to try to push up again right out of a zone. If it doesn't, not able to break out, it's still going to have a drawdown again. So what we're doing is we take the profits going up, the price goes up, we create a new strategy, take the profit going down until we break out of the zone where our strategy now changes. So we want to create for FET. Earlier we long, right now we want to short FET, and this is our setup for it. Price movement 24, average 3.3. This is also going to be in the Telegram group. So jump right into your Tafabot app. You want to create this setup for your own capital. So this is going to be a short position trade, means it will not be open for those who are using spot. So you can only take this trade on futures. I go straight into FETs. I click on edit. So my first setup is already here. Last time we did strategy long. I'm going to go short right now. I'm going to go for short. Okay. Click on next. Now I have my first entry amount over here. For me, it's 54.1. Remember, always it's going to be different for every user depending on your capital. So I'm going to put right there the same details from the calculator, the number of re-entry you can find over here. You can find the number of re-entry over there as 7. So I'm going to put right the same details over there. And the leverage for altcoins, as usual, we try not to go so high, well over 5%, 5S in leverage, but we always explain that there are a concept of leverage that we use. And if you've not followed before, you want to check out the previous videos we've done where we explain what are the concepts of leverage, so you know when not to over leverage your account. And remember, the goal is consistent profit, not to make 300% profit in one trade and you lose it in the next trade, which is what we've been doing the past week. We want to make sure everyone's making consistent profit. This is our second week into this training, and from the first day we've done over 25% every single day. So you want to keep following that to make the kind of money that we're doing every day. You don't want to go way above, you don't want to kill your capital. Okay, so our leverage is 5. Our Martingale configuration we find right over here. First, I have 3.3. Second, I have 3.6. If you notice, the structure changes every time depending on the market. This was the previous structure on 93. It was 9.6. Right now, the calculator gives me 9.9. So the structure changes. You always want to be on the know to use the updated structure for your trade. Entry 7, 23.1. So I pretty much have the same thing on the ratio. All right. And 9.9 and 9.6 and 3.3. So save. The next thing is the take profit. Now, I said that the market is ranging means if you've noticed, all of the trade we took, it was ANKRO and about 3 out of the 5 trade that went over to our profit and closed. The other trade kept ranging and we had to reduce our take profit for trades like Matic to close it up right here. We also have Lina. I did see Lina trade do about 10% earlier. I did see that, but I don't manual trade, so I don't touch anything. So when I set on my Tafa, I let Tafa do the job. If you try to manual trade it, you're going to complicate your trade, and that could be very dangerous. So I allow Tafa to handle literally everything. So I did see it at 10% and it wasn't moving to our direction. And I'm super still excited if the trade moves downward more to give me more entries. So for our trades for today, we're going to be doing something totally different. We're not going to be aiming for the highest profit the market can give us. We want to take a 1% profit, but in taking a lot of trades. So our strategy, risk preference is relaxed, but this time we're going to be doing 5 strategies, strategy period 5. So what this means is at every point, I'm going to take 5% profit from FET's trade. And at every point, 5%, I'm going to take it in 5 different times. So in reality, I'm still going to be making a 25% profit, but in shorter trade because the market is ranging. Now, this would not be the perfect strategy. Like you've seen, we don't regularly use this. This is not a strategy. If the market goes outside of the zone and becomes bullish or bearish, you'll be taking too many trades, which is not good. So this is only for a ranging market. So our strategy period is 5. There's just going to be 5 trades on FET and it's going to shut down. And we want this trade to get right back in. So we are using 0.1. Save bots. And I'm going to go straight into starting my bots. FET setup, start, confirm. Yep. And I have my bot started. Cancel the other ones. Okay. So next we move forward to what is the next setup that we're going to be doing. If you didn't catch the full FET trade, don't forget it's always going to be in the Telegram group. So you want to follow through all of the Telegram channels in Tafabot. Okay, so let's move to the next trade. The next trade we're going to be doing today is for ZEM. Now, we did take a trade on ZEM last time. Just head straight into ZEM. We did take a trade on ZEM last time, and it was a long trade, which we took a whole lot of profit from yesterday, and that trade is also done. Now, we want to also take a short trade from ZEM, and we already created the setup. The setup happened over here, so ZEM is already dumping right after our setup. So we want to jump straight into that trade so it doesn't dump further without us taking profit. So you want to head straight and create a setup for ZEM. If you took the trade last time, you should already have ZEM over here. So this is ZEM. I'm going to edit ZEM. I have strategy long earlier. Now it becomes short. I click on shorts. I move next, and I'm going to have the same strategy like we had earlier. We're tracking a 70% ZEM movement and a 3% average. So you want to head straight into the calculator. You want to put your capital 17. This is one trade everybody could take, including $50 capital, and it does give a lot of profit like we've seen yesterday. So calculate, it gives me, I just have 5 entries into ZEM. So I want to put those entries right in. I have 111.1 in forced capital, 111.1. Entry is 5. You see, our last entry was 4, shows you how dynamic and how this changes every time. Our leverage is still 5. Entry configuration, first one is 3, 6, 9, 12, pretty much the same thing. And the fifth entry, 15. That is amazing. So save. And our take profit is still 1, pretty much the same as today. Now our strategy also is 5. We just want this trade to run for 5 times and it's done. So I'm going to save my XAM and head right back into the starts. And I'm going to stop the XAM because it was running earlier. And I'm going to start it afresh. So XAM started. You want to do that and start taking profits. It is already dumping into our zone. So that is a good indication. So I already have fetch running here. XAM is going to be opening right away. So we've done 2 trades right now. Let's move to the next guy we want to look into. And the next trade for us today is going to be Master Dodge. This is one coin a lot of person like for the meme. So Master Dodge is one guy that is in a very heavy ranging zone, and that is a good ranging trade to also take because the market is not bullish, not bearish, it's just ranging. And Dodge is one guy that is in a heavy ranging zone. Now it's so ranging that the zone can expand so much that this could even be a possible trade that we can leave for more than 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 5 days. But we're going to keep reviewing as the market moves. So first is 2 things is that Dodge has 2 separate setups depending on your capital. So if you have a lesser capital, like you've seen, that cannot carry some trade, like 50 or $100 capital, there are different setup for you if you're running on the Dodge trade. Now, the first setup is if you have lesser capital, like $100, for capital more than 300, you should be fine to do every other trade. But for lesser capital, for Dodge, you want to have the first Dodge track of 18.6%. So you want to head right into your setup. Now, I love Dodge so much, not for Dodge, but because the market is in a heavy range zone. So it is one market that I want to allocate more capital to. So I'm going to be doing a $10,000 in 5S into a Dodge. So I want to do a $50,000 Dodge trade. So the price movement for Dodge, if you have a lesser capital, not for this my kind of capital, I'm going to head for my kind of capital. So if you have a lesser capital, you're tracking an 18.6% movement. So we have 18.6. And for Dodge also, we have the ranging at 3. So you want to calculate. I'm just going to put $100 right here. So it is very, very clear for such users. So this is your setup for Dodge. You have 6 entries and you have $1.6 first capital. So if this is your capital, you have like $200 below. This is your setup for Dodge, 18.6 and 3 price movement. This is also going to be in the Telegram chat right after now. But for others with higher capital, you want to cover the full range zone that Dodge can perform. That is super amazing. And whichever one you're choosing to go for is totally fine. So for you, you want to cover up a larger zone of Dodge, and that is running at a ranging 38%. So we're going to head right back and we're going to have 38% and the same 3% average range. So we calculate, and this gives us a different setup for Dodge. Now, one thing you might find is the users with the lesser capital that is taking the first Dodge setup will possibly make more profit, but we will have to change their setup when the market moves outside that zone. Now, like you know, the crypto market is very vast. Anything could happen. There could be a news about Dodge from Elon, and the Dodge setup could just change. Now, we then need to review such setup for those kind of users. But for other users with the larger capital, you're using a much more relaxed setup that even if the market switches, there's a news about Dodge, you're still going to be fine. And you won't have to review your setup again. So I'm using the same. So I head straight right into my Tafabot. And I want to look for a setup for Dodge. If I don't have one yet, then I want to create boards, accept, and I'm going to call it Dodge setup. exchange is Binance. You can use literally on any exchange. Now, there's something different about Dodge, which means that you can also take this Dodge trade if you're a spot trader, right? So for Dodge is the only market today that we're going long on. Now, there's several reasons for that. Is that the Dodge chart is very, very clear within the range, and also we have a bullish angle ranging into Dodge first market zone. So that is a good indicator. Despite we're short in every other market, we are long in Dodge. So you're able to take Dodge trade both on spot and also on futures. So I'm going to head straight right into my TAFA. I already have first started, is at 2.8% profit, but that's always not our interest until the market moves into more entries. So I go straight into setting Dodge, market, search Dodge, select, and my maximum capital for Dodge is a $10,000 capital. And I'm also doing a 5S into Dodge, giving me a $50,000 position size. And the strategy is long. My entry amounts 42.7. 42.7. You always want to be careful when following the calculator not to alter any digits. It will alter your whole setup. Dodge, I'm also going for 5 as usual. And my entries are 3, 6, 9, 12. Amazing. 15. And then I have 18 over here. I have 21. I have 24. I have 27. I have 30 over here. 33 and 36 and 36, and pretty much the same also. So jump right in, 27, 24, 21, 18, and setup is done. Now the take profit for Dodge is also the same. The market is ranging. We want to take a whole lot of profit. So our take profit is 1. Our risk preference is still relaxed. And our strategy period is 10. So Dodge is going to run 10 times. After then, we're going to review. Do we need to update our strategy? Has our setup broken out in Dodge? So we have 10 setup for Dodge. Reentry is 1. 0.1, 0.1 reentry, and create bots. Bot created. I'm going to head straight into starting up Dodge. So I'm going to go to Dodge. Dodge, where are you? Dodge setup and start. Perfect. So Dodge started. So today we've reviewed Dodge, we've reviewed ZEM, we've reviewed FEDs, and we still have one trade pending from yesterday, which is on Lena, making it a total of 4 trades set up that we've looked into. So you could see us already. My ZEM is open, my FED is already there. My Dodge just came in right as we're looking at it. Dodge is in. So all my setups are pretty much in. Lena is going to close because we've updated the take profit. It was formerly at 10% and the price dropped. So right now we've updated it to 1, meaning a 10% take profit. And Lena is also going to be closing in the next market move. So that's pretty much our setup. So I'm going to go through our chart. You have feedback, you have questions. You want to send it right into the chat. We're going to look through it. I'm going to answer as much as we can for today. And for all the other setup, you want to go straight into the Tafabot channel. We already have our team post that. So you want to go straight there, get the setup. If you've not done that, why I was talking about it, and you want to create all of those setups. So let's jump right into looking through questions. All right, starting from the first user. asking about Lena. Yes, I already talked about that. What has changed to Matic setup? I did speak about that also, that our Matic has taken profits, like mine has closed, like you saw, our Matic has taken profits. Our target was 25%. Matic was at 21%. We had to update our profit, take profit to take the 20% profit for Matic. So that trade is already done and is gone. Someone said, is there any chance or plan to use Martingale trade bots to Neuronet? Do we have a plan to use Martingale trade bots to Neuronet? Amazing. I believe that this user is super excited of how well the Martingale strategy does. And you feel like, could we transfer them to Neuronet? Now, there are two different protocols. Martingale is much more professional, which is why we have this daily course to show you what are the setups to use. Neuronet is much more AI hands-free algorithm based, so it's totally different. So for those who are using Neuronet, that is super amazing. I still have a Neuronet setup. Yesterday, my Neuronet did about 2%. A day before, it did about 3%. So Neuronet, basically the goal is it makes you 10 to 30% in a month. Once it does that, it's going to shut down. So it could be 10%, it could go above 10%. It's going to shut down for the month. And that is the lowest level risk bot. So if you want to use that, that is still super amazing, but they're totally different. We cannot interchange both of them, Martingale and Neuronet. So you can also keep some capital on Neuronet and just take those basic income while you're also making the big bucks with the Martingale setup. Someone says Zem is going down so fast and taking more margin. Are we safe on Zem as it's going down? Let me be clear, our Zem trade is already done. And if yours is still open, like I showed in my screen, we took Zem took over about 10 trades and all of them closed in profit. And I said, if you still have any Zem trade that reopened again, you want to update your take profit and your strategy period to 1, so that Zem will close that trade and not open again. Then we've changed our Zem setup. So you don't want to change the setup right now if your trade is still open, right? Our trade is closed. You want to take the new setup after your trade is closed. And also, if you're following the setup, it is totally fine. You don't need to do anything. So if you're asking if you're safe, you're still totally fine. And you don't have to be scared when the market is going down from your setup. Actually, that is the goal. When we create a setup, we cover up all the price movement for that setup. You should be excited about that as far as you're following the setup to the letter. Someone said, I'm just joining. Should I go out of Zem or hold? I just talked about that right now, so you know what to do about Zem. Can we use $100 on FET? Yes, that should be possible to go FET $100. You can go Zem $100 also, and you can go Dodge $100 like I explained. Someone said my ANK arrow is still running. I explained that already. For ANK arrow, you should be on profit even if it's running. Just go update your take profit to 1, and your ANK arrow is going to close at the profit it is right now. Says Zem has taken much margin. Should I allow it to run? Yes, totally fine. That's okay. What is the take profit for FET? We just posted on the Telegram group, and the strategy period, all of that is on the Telegram channel. Someone said my previous Zem is still running. That's totally fine. If it is running, I believe it has taken a fresh position after closing in profit. So, and I already explained what you need to do about that, and no need to be alarmed. Then we also have someone said, what is the leverage for Zem? Is already in the Telegram channel. Okay. Someone said, are we to close the Zem that is already running? I already explained that. You want to set your strategy period to 1, means you're not closing at any loss. No one has ever taken a loss in any of our setup. You're setting it to 1, it's going to close at the next run. Then you follow the new setup that we have given on Zem today. Zem is on negative. Should I put a stop loss? Okay, we just have to look at Zem. Again, there's so much questions about Zem. So I'm going to share my screen right again. So we look through the Zem setup. So this is the Zem setup that we had. Now, I believe you can see my screen. Now, in the setup of Zem, we try to cover up the maximum price movement of ZEM. So you can see ZEM over here, despite it is going down, it is still nowhere close to our first setup. Guys, if there's noise in the background, I apologize for that. That's from a machine outside the building. Okay, so you can see ZEM has not even moved like close to our first range. So everything is totally fine. Our strategy covers up for the range. So if your ZEM is there, it's in the range, there's nothing you have to do. All right, so let's go right back to the questions. So much questions on ZEM. I already explained that again. Someone said, I made profits this morning. Thanks a lot. That is amazing. Another question on ZEM. I already showed that. Okay, someone is saying, what is happening on STS? STS trade was done long ago. We had concluded every trade on STS. Now, this is why it is important to follow the daily update. So someone, this is what I've seen some users do is they go to the Telegram group, they see a trade setup that was posted on Monday, and they take the trade setup on Wednesday. Now, all of this setup, like I've said, is a trade within the zone. So when a setup goes outside the zone, we immediately invalidate that setup. So you don't want to go take a setup we posted for Monday and use it on Wednesday. That is why we post new setup every single day. So you shouldn't be on an STS setup anymore. You want to look through that. If you're still there, now what you can do is you want to update the strategy period to 1, so that, and you want to update the take profits to even as low as 0.5. So STS is going to close at the next move and not take any further trade. Perfect. Someone said my Neuronet is not picking trade. Okay, now for Neuronet, you need to understand, like I said in the previous meeting, we've done a lot of optimization to Neuronet. So it might stay a day and not take a trade. And the next day, it might take a trade and make 5% profits. So those are several optimizations we did to make sure Neuronet doesn't overtrade. So I believe my Neuronet, for example, took a trade yesterday, closed at about 1 to 3% profit. So yours should also do the same. And if it doesn't, you want to reach out to support. Someone said, sir, please, did you need to take profit from the exchange or how did you do it? All I did was to go straight into Tafabot and edited the take profits. Someone said, my Matic is still running at 5% profit. What should I change? I already explained, just change the take profits to 1 and your trade will close. Someone said, what about the STS short we had? Once again, someone is taking up the trade we've done long ago, and those are not valid anymore. And I've already explained just a minute ago what to do about such kind of trade. Please make sure, keep alerts on the Telegram channel. So when we send out a trade, you know when to take a trade. When a trade is done, we tell you when it is done, and you don't do that setup again. Someone said, please, how can those on sports benefit from the configurations? Yes, there are trades you can take on sports, and we specify those trades. Like today, the Dodge trade is on sport. So sport guys can take every single trade that we are giving, except when we say a trade is for shorts. Someone said, for little capital for Dodge, are we using the price movement 38? No, you're not using that. I showed that, and I'm going to show it again. I'll just share my screen once more. So here's my screen. This is for Dodge, and for Dodge, you're doing an 18% price movement and the same average movement. So if you have shorter capital, you're running on 18, longer capital, you're running on 38. Someone says, should I close my Matic? I didn't hear what you said. Yes, update. You don't need to do anything on your exchange. Once again, go to Tafabot, go to take profits, enter 1 over there, and that is it. And your Matic is going to close. Someone said, my Dodge reentry is showing 12.1. Is that correct? No, the Dodge reentry is 0.1. So you want to update that. to 0.1 condition, not 12.1. Yes, someone said our BTC is still on because the strategy period is 50, and I already talked about that. I'm going to show that again, how to do it. So here is my screen. Move over to the setup over here. Go to your bots. This is BTC, for example. Click on edit. Click on edit. Go to NES. Take profit 1, strategy period 1. Save, and that's all. Your BTC will only handle the current trade. When the trade is done, it's not going to take further trade. Like you can see, mine is still on, so I did the same thing. So for today, we've had all of these trades. You can see over here, we have FET, we have ZEM, we have Dodge, we have Lena, and we have BTC that is also set to close. So this is pretty much our 5 trade for today. Tomorrow, we're going to review how well this trade did. Today, from the yesterday's trade, we did over 50% profit. And you can see also in my profit logs over here, this was my profit from the trade that closed today. Some trade closed at 9, and the counter resets every 24 hours at Dubai time, 12 p.m., 12/9. So guys, this is it for today. Tomorrow, we're going to review. Thank you all, and cheers. Let's go make some profits. All right.